Okay, so I came across this post on Tumblr, and it's talking about how a person affected with measles attended a Portland Trail Blazers home game in Oregon last week amid an outbreak that has left at least 19 people ill this month in neighboring Washington State. Can't click the link, but obviously it's CNN. There's an article there. Somebody, quote, replies and says, "Fuck, if only we'd come up with a vaccine for measles and some dumb rich white ladies hadn't decided that Jenny McCarthy knew more about science than every motherfucking not pronouncing that, immunologist on the fucking planet." And by 1968, we had an effective, safe vaccine for measles, and by the year 2000, we eradicated it in the United States, and rich white women will let their kids die from preventable disease just to be trendy. Measles is back. It might sound like I'm being glib, but this is an accurate account of what has happened, especially given character constraints, and it's the singularly most ridiculous and dangerous social phenomenon born of the last 200 forgive me, last 20 years. Vaccinate your kids, for fuck's sakes. Someone replies to the main post saying, "The other thing about measles is that it resets your body's memory of other diseases. So all these times you've gotten sick, your body's memory cells no longer remember those illnesses. So even if you get the same type of illness again, your body will react like it's the first time you've been sick. It's so much worse than just a disease." Measles does what? Holy fuck. Anti-vaxxers legitimately need to have their children taken away and vaccinated and be put in prison for child abuse and endangering the public. I swear to absolute fuck. If I've heard this before, I've forgotten. Measles resets your immune system, so every strain of cold flu is brand new. It resets your immune system, so every virus or bacteria it has memory of it is forgotten. Not just cold flu, but everything. People who have or recently had measles, like 2 to 3 years for healthy adults recently, are at increased risk of secondary infections because of this, and it can get really serious. Oh, and here's a link. Let's click on it. So, measles and immune amnesia. So, oh, that's a long article. I'm going to read it. So, forgive me for my very important voice. Ooh, and this is recently, May 18th, 2019. So, the risk associated with measles infection is much greater than the sum of observable symptoms. The immune memories that you have required are priceless, built over many years and from countless exposures to a menagerie of germs. Measles virus is especially dangerous because it has the ability to destroy what's been earned, immune memory from previous infections. Meanwhile, the process of fighting measles infection leaves patients especially vulnerable to secondary infection. The worldwide increase in measles prevalence is cause for concern because morbidity and mortality from the disease extends far beyond acute measles infection. How exactly can one virus wreak so much havoc? The virus, measles transmission. Perhaps the best known characteristic of measles is extreme contagiousness. The measles virus, MV, a single-stranded RNA virus that belongs to the genus, that word, has only one natural host, humans. Oh, that sucks. MV is extremely transmissible by aerosol droplets in a room full of exposed people. 90% who are unvaccinated will develop the disease. To complicate matters, this microbe can linger in the air for up to 2 hours. Aerosol droplets, meaning when you sneeze. Okay. Sorry, I like to dumb it down, and I know how to dumb it down. Measles symptoms. Infected individuals show symptoms 10 to 12 days after exposure. So you might not even know you're infected. And this is why it spreads so fast, because even though you're infected and you don't show the symptoms, you're still infectious and will still spread it. Including fever, cough, runny nose, watery eyes, Koplik spots, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, and rash. Typically, measles infection is self-limiting and requires nothing more than palliative care to treat those symptoms. Immune-mediated clearance of the virus results in recovery and lifelong immunity to disease. More serious complications such as pneumonia, encephalitis, and even death can occur during acute infection. Statistics show that 2 to 3 out of every 1,000 cases will result in brain damage or death. In 2017 alone, the WHO estimated that measles and its related secondary infections were responsible for approximately 110,000 deaths worldwide. Most of these were in children less than 5 years of age from fucking anti-vaxxer moms. Fuck them. Immune amnesia. How your immune system forgets to fight. One of the most unique and most dangerous features of measles pathogenesis is its ability to reset the immune systems of infected patients. During the acute phase of infection, measles induces immune suppression through a process called immune amnesia. Studies in non-human primates revealed that MV actually replaces the old memory cells of its host with new MV-specific lymphocytes. As a result, the patient emerges with a strong MV-specific immunity and an increased vulnerability to all other pathogens. So yes, anti-vaxxers mom's right. Oh, we can just let it fight naturally, but unless they develop MV first and not any other cold flu sickness as a child, yeah, they're gonna fucking die. Yeah, it's they'll be immune from MV, but they'll die from every other illnesses if they don't die from measles. Fuck anti-vaxxers. Many pathogens suppress immune function. The influenza virus damages airway, epithelial cells, and increases patients' susceptibility to pneumonia. I will pronounce it 60 gazillion ways, causing bacteria species. However, the ability to destroy immunological memory and replace memory lymphocytes is unique to MV. This MV-specific phenomenon raises a number of questions. How is immune amnesia accomplished? How long does the amnesia last? And what can be done to correct or prevent the problem? So, first question, how does measles virus cause immune amnesia? MV causes infection by fusing with the plasma membranes of host cells in a receptor-dependent manner. When MV enters the respiratory tract, it infects alveolar macrophages in the lung first. Okay, I know what that is, I just keep forgetting how to pronounce it. The primary role of these specialized immune cells is to engulf and destroy foreign substances like dust, bacteria, and viral particles. Alveolar macrophages also possesses a membrane glycoprotein called signaling lymphocytic activation molecule, SLAM, that has been identified as the high-affinity cellular receptor for MV. MV uses SLAM to fuse directly with the plasma membrane, bypass destructive phagocytosis, and release its genome and replication machinery directly into the cell cytoplasm. Instead of destroying the measles virus upon contact, hijacked macrophages transport viral copies straight to the closest lymph nodes for dissemination. Infected macrophages travel to lymph tissue, where the virus comes in contact with the memory cells of the immune system, memory T cells, and B cells. These lymphocytes are recon strategists. They identify foreign invaders through antigen detection and process these molecular patterns to generate long-lived memory cells. Let me reread that sentence so it doesn't sound so broken. They identify foreign invaders through antigen detection and process these molecular patterns to generate long-lived memory cells for future protection. There we go. If a second encounter occurs, memory cells will mount a faster and stronger immune response to that pathogen during the first encounter. So, Here's the thing that shows the measles virus, so skin rash, the dissemination, all that. You can pause it to look at more, unless you understood everything I read. So memory T cells and B cells contain SLAM surface receptors as well. Research has shown that MV binds and infects memory T cells, memory B cells, and naive B cells of the immune system. Once infection is established, the virus spreads through the body by building from infected cells. Clearance of MV requires the elimination of virally infected lymphocytes. Immune-mediated destruction of memory T cells and B cells is initiated, and memories of past infections are destroyed along with them. The number of T cells and B cells significantly decreases during the acute stage of measles infection, but there is a rapid return to normal WBC levels after the virus is cleared from the system. This observation masked what was really going on until researchers were able to evaluate the qualitative composition of recovered lymphocyte populations. We now know that the memory T cells and B cells that are produced immediately following the infections are dramatically different from those that existed before the measles infection. Not only have pre-existing immune memory cells been erased, but there has been a massive production of new lymphocytes, and these only have one memory, measles. Thus, the host is left totally immune to NV and significantly vulnerable to all other secondary infections. But for how long? How long does the amnesia last? Michael Mina and colleagues at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia, developed a statistical model to analyze the duration of measles-induced immune suppression in children. Why was I able to say that so fast? Examination of child mortality rates in the US, UK, and Denmark in the decades before and after the introduction of the measles vaccine revealed that nearly half of all childhood deaths from infectious disease could be related to MV infection when the disease was prevalent. That means infections and other measles resulted in death due to the MV effect on the immune system. Furthermore, it was determined that it takes approximately 2 to 3 years post-measles infection for protective immune memory to be restored. But by the time that happens, the children will already be dead because, their bodies are tiny and they can't freaking fight back. The average duration of measles-induced immune amnesia was 27 months in all 3 countries. Corresponding evidence indicates that it may take up to 5 years for children to develop healthy immune systems, even in the absence of the immune-suppressing effects of MV infection. If MV infection essentially resets a child's developing immunity to that of a newborn, revaccination or exposure to all previously encountered microbes will be required in order to rebuild proper immune function. I'm posting this to Facebook for these anti-vaxxers to see. Holy shit, that's scary. Like, how? It takes, for children who haven't even been exposed to MV, it takes 5 years. So, babies who get MV are, they're essentially setting up their children to fucking die. I hate this. And what can be done to correct or prevent the problem? Vaccines! 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 Fortunately, the measles vaccine is highly effective at protecting against not only MV, but also many of the opportunistic, I've never read that word before in my life, out loud, pathogens that are eager to take advantage of measles-induced immune amnesia. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, the measles, mumps, and rubella MR vaccine is 97% effective at preventing measles after 2 doses. Yeah, I had to get the measles I couldn't get the measles vaccine because it came out too late. I was born in 96, and my sister was born in 98. My sister has the MMR vaccine, but I don't because I was just a touch too old to get it. So I was maybe 13 when it came out, I think. from what my mom told me, and that was just on the cusp of being too old to get it, so. But I think I was vaccinated from it because I had the chickenpox vaccine, which helped a little bit, I think. Don't quote me. I don't know what I'm talking about. Or do I? Why measles vaccination matters. Measles continues to be one of the most highly contagious diseases in the world. The Centers for CDC reported 839 individual cases in the U.S. from January 1st to May 19, 2019. And that number has only gone up. Outbreaks of this magnitude have not been since the Vaccines for Children program was initiated 25 years ago. I think they missed a word there. Somewhere. Reading it out loud doesn't sound right. So, somewhere they missed a word. It was initiated 25 years ago, and the subsequent absence of continuous disease transmission in the United States for 12 months declared measles eliminated in the year 2000. Lack of vaccination and acquired immunity, as well as international travel, are all contributing factors to the current state of affairs. Poor baby. The World Health Organization, calculated 300% increase in measles cases in the first quarter of 2019 compared to this time last year. Madagascar, Brazil, India, and the Philippines, Ukraine, and Venezuela have all been hit hard, while France, Greece, Israel, and Georgia have endured smaller outbreaks of the disease. Altogether, the situation has become a global crisis, and this is generating a lot of discussion about our collective and individual susceptibilities to measles infection. Fortunately, vaccination not only prevents the spread of measles, but also reduces the impact of immunogenicity and the subsequent secondary infections that are associated with this MV-specific phenomenon. And more articles. So, yeah. Fuck anti-vaxxers. And I will link this article below so you can read more about any of the links and everything else that goes on. And I will reblog the main post, and link that because I'm never deleting my account, but so the other people might delete their accounts, and so if I link it to theirs, you won't be able to find it. So I'll link the post from my account. So I'll say my name, my Tumblr account, and then like that. And I don't understand this question. I'm gonna cut out this last part.